The morning mist clings to the dense jungle, an eerie quiet before the day awakens. Zuberi walks through the overgrown paths of his village. He's been told stories about the hidden temple, but today feels different, a strange pull, an unseen force. As his feet brush against the damp earth, his mind drifts to the loss of his father, a day that still feels fresh. His father's death wasn't just a loss. It was the start of a deep mystery that still haunts him. Zuberi knows the stories, hears the whispers, but he never thought he would be a part of them. The artifact he carries in his hands, an object of dark power, seems to hum with life. Its surface gleams faintly in the early light, as though alive, like it's calling him home. The air grows heavier, and Zuberi feels as though he's being watched, the forest itself silent with expectation. For years his mother Amina warned him to stay away from the temple, but the pull he feels now is too strong. His father's shadow is all around him, and the weight of legacy presses down on him with each step he takes. He doesn't know it yet, but today will be the first step on a path that will change everything. Zuberi arrives back at the village, his heart heavy with the burden of what he has discovered. The artifact, still glowing faintly, hangs in his hand. His mother Amina is waiting for him at the door of their hut. Her expression is a mixture of fear and concern. "Zuberi, you must not go near the temple," she warns, her voice trembling. "I know you are seeking answers about your father, but some things are better left buried." Zuberi looks at the artifact, and then back at her. "Mother, I have to know what happened to him. The temple, it's connected to everything." Amina's face tightens, and she turns away, her mind clearly torn. She knows that the path Zuberi is about to walk will lead him into a world of secrets and danger. Yet, deep down, she also knows that she can't stop him. He has the same determination his father once had. Zuberi seeks counsel with Okello, the village elder, a man whose face is etched with wisdom and age. He listens intently as Zuberi explains the mysterious pull he feels toward the temple. Okello nods slowly. "The temple has secrets that are not meant for the living to uncover," he warns, his voice gravely serious. "Your father knew this, but he chose to protect you from it. That artifact, it is not just a relic, Zuberi. It is a key." Zuberi frowns, confused. "A key to what?" Okello sighs deeply. "To a legacy that was never meant to be remembered. Your father made sacrifices to keep it hidden, and now you are the one called to decide. The choices you make will have consequences." Zuberi's decision weighs heavily on him as he ventures into the jungle once more. His mind races with the possibilities. He knows he is treading into dangerous territory, but he also understands that there is no turning back. The air is thick with anticipation, and every step forward feels like a step closer to the truth. The sound of rustling leaves fills the silence, but Zuberi doesn't stop. He must uncover what his father left behind, no matter the cost. His heart beats loudly in his chest as he approaches the temple once more, the strange pull growing stronger. At last, Zuberi stands at the entrance of the hidden temple. The ancient stone structure looms ahead, covered in vines and moss. It feels both sacred and ominous, a place where past and present collide. As he steps forward, he hears a whisper in the wind, his father's voice calling to him from the depths of the temple. Zuberi steps forward, determined, his heart racing. He doesn't fully understand what's at stake, but he knows that everything depends on what he finds inside. With one final breath, he enters. Zuberi returns to the jungle, the ancient artifact still glowing in his hand. The temple's secrets now seem just out of reach, but he is determined to unlock them. Inside the depths of the sacred place, his father's legacy is hidden, tied to a dangerous truth. As he ventures deeper into the temple's ruins, the air grows colder, the walls heavy with the weight of ancient memories. Every step brings him closer to the discovery that could change everything. Suddenly, Zuberi stumbles upon a hidden chamber, its entrance blocked by massive stone slabs. He places the artifact against the stone wall, and for a brief moment, the glowing markings on the stone shift. Zuberi hesitates, unsure of what lies behind. His heart races, the temple has awakened, responding to his presence. His father's voice seems to echo through the darkness, urging him to continue. With one final breath, Zuberi pushes the stone slab aside, stepping into the chamber where truth and danger collide. Zuberi enters the chamber, his footsteps echoing in the cold silence. The walls are adorned with ancient carvings that tell the story of his ancestors, showing their struggles, triumphs, and the price they paid to protect the land. As he moves further into the chamber, he notices a peculiar mural, one that depicts a figure he recognizes, his father, standing tall and defiant, guarding the temple. He traces the image with his fingers, his heart pounding. The significance of this discovery hits him. His father was not just a protector of the land, but also the keeper of a hidden truth that could reshape their future. As the mural illuminates with a soft blue light, Zuberi realizes the artifact he holds is key to unlocking the temple's greatest secret. A deep, resonant voice speaks from the walls. To protect the land, you must first understand the curse that binds it. Zuberi's mind reels as the weight of these words settles on his shoulders. His journey has only just begun. Zuberi leaves the temple, the weight of the discovery pressing heavily on his chest. As he walks back to the village, his mind races. His father's secret, the truth about the curse, must be uncovered. Yet his thoughts are interrupted by a figure that emerges from the shadows. Okello, the village elder. Okello's eyes are grave, his expression serious. "You've seen the truth, haven't you?" he asks. Zuberi nods, his words caught in his throat. Okello sighs deeply, taking a step forward. "Your father knew that this land was cursed, but he kept it hidden to protect you. The time has come for you to face the legacy he left behind." Zuberi stands in silence, the weight of his father's choices heavy upon him. Okello continues, "There are forces beyond our control at play. You must decide whether to continue your father's work or let it fade into the past." The decision weighs heavily on Zuberi, but he knows deep down that he cannot ignore what he has uncovered. The path forward is unclear, but he must walk it. For his father, for the land, and for his people. The following day, Zuberi gathers a group of trusted villagers, determined to protect the land from the growing threat. Word of a powerful outsider seeking to exploit the land has spread, and Zuberi knows they must act quickly. As the villagers gather around him, he addresses them, his voice firm and commanding. "The land is ours to protect," he declares. "We cannot allow anyone, no matter how powerful, to take it from us. My father understood this, and now it is our responsibility to stand together and defend our heritage." The villagers murmur in agreement, but Zuberi can see the fear in their eyes. Many are uncertain. They have no weapons, no power to fight back against the outsiders. But Zuberi knows that the strength they need lies not in weapons, but in their unity. He calls upon the elders, including Okello, to join him in this battle for their heritage. The fight will be long and difficult, but Zuberi is resolute. He will not let the temple's secrets fall into the wrong hands. That night, Zuberi stands by the edge of the village, staring out at the jungle that stretches into the unknown. The artifact still glows faintly in his hand, its power undeniable. A voice calls out to him from behind, and he turns to find Amina standing in the doorway of their hut, her expression filled with both concern and pride. "You are your father's son," she says softly. "He would be proud of you." Zuberi walks toward her, the weight of his responsibility heavy on his shoulders. "I don't know if I'm ready for this, mother," he admits, his voice quiet. "But I have no choice. The land needs us. The temple needs us." Amina reaches out, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Then you must fight for it, my son, just as your father did." With a final glance at the jungle, Zuberi nods. The battle for their heritage has begun. The first signs of trouble come when an outsider, a businessman named Tond, arrives in the village. His presence alone stirs tension, and his smooth words promise prosperity in exchange for the land the villagers hold dear. Zuberi, standing at the edge of the village, watches Tund, 50 male, with suspicion. He knows this man's intentions are not pure. Tund, dressed in expensive suits and shoes that shine under the sun, approaches the village square with a confident stride, shaking hands with key figures in the village. Progress, Tund declares, is the future. Your land is rich in resources. Let me help you bring it into the modern world. Zuberi knows the price of such promises. His father's legacy, the very thing he has sworn to protect, would be gone. The villagers are divided, some eager to welcome the opportunity, others wary. Zuberi steps forward, feeling the weight of his father's teachings and the responsibility that rests on his shoulders. "We don't need your help," Zuberi says, his voice strong, "not if it means losing our heritage." The following day, the tension in the village is palpable. Zuberi gathers the villagers, urging them to stand united in defense of their land. "Our ancestors fought for this land. It is not just soil and stone. It is our legacy," he says passionately. The villagers listen, but their faces are torn. Some, like Okello, 70 male, nod in agreement, but others, including a few younger men, look uncertain, swayed by Tunda's promises. As the meeting continues, the sound of distant machinery grows louder, a reminder of the imminent threat. Zuberi's heart pounds as he realizes that the outsiders have begun to encroach on the land, setting up machinery to extract its resources. He looks at Amina, 45, female, his mother, whose face is a mixture of concern and sorrow. "I cannot let them take it," Zuberi mutters, more to himself than anyone else. "I will protect what is ours, no matter the cost." The group, now divided, begins to stir as the reality of their situation sets in. They must decide whether to fight for their future or surrender to Tunda's vision. The confrontation comes unexpectedly. Tunda, 50 male, arrives at the village with armed guards, a bold declaration of his intentions to take the land by force. "This land will serve the greater good," Tund declares, "and you will be compensated generously for your loss." Zuberi steps forward, his chest swelling with anger. "This land is not for sale," he says firmly. "You cannot buy what belongs to the people. You will not have it." The tension escalates quickly. The villagers begin to gather around, some with fear in their eyes, others with growing resolve. Zuberi, despite his internal turmoil, feels a surge of strength. The thought of losing everything, his father's legacy, his family's honor, drives him to action. As Tund orders his men to advance, Zuberi steps in front of them, blocking their path. "We will not allow you to desecrate our land," Zuberi declares. The standoff is inevitable, but Zuberi is ready to fight, knowing that this battle will determine the future of the village and its people. As the standoff intensifies, Okello, 70 male, steps forward, his voice calm but firm. "This is not the way," he says, addressing both Zuberi and Tund. "Violence will only destroy what we are trying to protect." Zuberi looks at him, torn between the wisdom of his elder and the anger burning inside him. "What choice do we have, Okello?" Zuberi responds, his voice strained. "If we don't fight, we lose everything." Okello looks deep into Zuberi's eyes, his gaze filled with a mixture of sadness and understanding. "Your father knew this, Zuberi. He fought with wisdom, not rage. You must find another way." Zuberi feels a wave of doubt wash over him. His father's words echo in his mind. To protect the land, they must stand united, not divided. But the threat is real, and the fear of losing everything pushes him closer to a breaking point. The battle between tradition and action has reached its climax, and Zuberi must choose the path that will define his legacy. Zuberi, with Okello's words in his mind, calls for a meeting with the village leaders. He proposes a different approach, one that relies on their unity and the strength of their ancestral ties rather than resorting to violence. "We can stand firm without shedding blood," Zuberi argues. "We have the land, the knowledge, and the spirit of our ancestors. We do not need their wealth, we need our heritage." The leaders listen, some still unsure, but there is a shift in the air. As the meeting progresses, a new plan forms. They will seek legal protection, they will gather support from surrounding villages, and they will use their unity as their strength. Zuberi's heart races as the plan begins to take shape. For the first time, he feels a sense of hope. The villagers begin to rally, their doubts slowly fading away. They are not powerless, and Zuberi knows that with each step, they are moving closer to securing their future. The tension reaches its peak when Zuberi discovers the depths of the conspiracy surrounding the land. Tund's plans are more far-reaching than they first appeared. As Zuberi confronts Tund, he uncovers a deeper betrayal. Tund has been colluding with corrupt officials to ensure that the village's land will be taken, with the help of a legal loophole that Zuberi's ancestors had unknowingly left open. The artifacts, the temple, and his father's mysterious disappearance, they were all part of a much larger plan to manipulate the land's spiritual significance for corporate gain. Your father's legacy was never meant to protect the land from outsiders, Tund sneers, but to hide the truth. Your father was a fool, and now you're walking in his footsteps. Zuberi feels his world shatter. Everything he believed about his father, his legacy, is now in question. But there's no time to dwell. With the legal battle looming, Zuberi knows that the village must prepare for war, not just for the land, but for the truth of their heritage. The revelation leaves him reeling, but it also ignites a new resolve. He will fight not only for the land, but for the memory of his father, no matter the cost. Zuberi retreats to the temple, seeking solace and answers. As he enters the dark, forgotten chamber where his father's legacy was sealed, the glowing markings on the walls pulse in response to his presence. He places the artifact on the altar, and for the first time, it reacts as if it recognizes him. The stone walls shift, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside, Zuberi discovers a letter written by his father, explaining the true purpose of the temple and the artifact. His father had known that one day this battle would come, and had left clues for Zuberi to decipher, but he had hidden the full truth to protect him. The land was never meant to be exploited, the letter reads, but its spiritual power can't be allowed to fall into the wrong hands. Zuberi, now fully aware of the stakes, knows what must be done. He can no longer run from his destiny. This is not just a fight for the land, but for the survival of his people's spiritual identity, and he must stop the forces that seek to erase it. With the truth now in his hands, Zuberi confronts the village council. He shares the revelations about the artifact, his father's involvement, and the dangerous forces they are up against. The council listens in stunned silence, unable to comprehend the depth of the conspiracy. Okello, 70 male, is the first to speak, his voice low but resolute. "This was always going to be our fight," he says, looking at Zuberi with pride. "Your father knew this moment would come. He prepared us for it, and now it is your turn." Zuberi, now fully embracing his role as the protector of his people's heritage, turns to face the council. "We will not be passive anymore," he declares. "We will fight not just with our hands, but with the truth of our ancestors." The villagers begin to rally, their resolve hardening in the face of this new, darker reality. They are no longer just defending the land, they are defending the very soul of their people. As the preparations for the battle begin, Zuberi and his closest allies strategize in the village square. They know that the forces they are up against are powerful, but they also know that they have something stronger: unity. "We may not have the weapons or the resources they do, but we have the land, the spirit, and the truth," Zuberi says, looking at his companions. The villagers, once divided by fear and doubt, now stand together, determined to fight for their heritage. "We will use every resource we have," Zuberi continues. "We will expose their lies and show them that we are not just a village to be bulldozed over. This land belongs to us, and we will protect it." The group, including Amina, 45, female, and the younger villagers, 16-20, male and female, nod in agreement. They are ready to fight for their future, armed with nothing but their shared resolve. As night falls, Zuberi stands on the edge of the village, looking out at the jungle. The faint glow of the artifact in his hand reflects the light of the moon, casting long shadows across the land. Amina approaches, her presence a comfort in the midst of the storm. "You are your father's son," she says softly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "He fought with everything he had to protect us. Now it is your turn." Zuberi nods, his resolve stronger than ever. I will protect this land, mother. I will honor his legacy, no matter the cost. The night is still, the air thick with the tension of what is to come. The village is ready. Zuberi knows that this battle will be the defining moment of his life, the moment he decides the future of his people and their heritage. He is no longer just a son seeking answers. He is now the protector of his ancestors' land. The village is on the brink of collapse, and Zuberi knows that time is running out. The machinery from Tunda's corporate forces is already advancing toward the land, and the villagers are gathering, ready to face their destiny. Zuberi stands tall, the weight of his ancestors' legacy heavy on his shoulders. Amina, his mother, stands beside him, her eyes filled with both pride and concern. You must lead them, Zuberi, she says, her voice unwavering. Zuberi nods, but deep inside, he is unsure if he is truly ready for the responsibility. The land has been his family's pride for generations, and now it is threatened by an outsider who seeks to erase it all. The villagers are divided, some ready to fight, while others remain fearful. Zuberi must rally them, not just with his words but with his actions. This is more than a fight for land, Zuberi declares to the assembled villagers. It is a fight for our identity, our heritage, and the legacy of our ancestors. If we fall together. The resolve in his voice sparks a fire within them. They are ready to stand beside him, to protect what is theirs, no matter the cost. The moment of reckoning has arrived. Tundan and his men stand at the edge of the village, confident in their power. The villagers are armed with only the tools of their ancestors, crude spears, wooden shields, and a fierce determination to protect their home. Tundi steps forward, his voice dripping with disdain. This land belongs to the future, not to your myths and stories, he sneers. I am here to bring progress. You can either join us or be left behind. Zuberi steps forward, the weight of his father's legacy now firmly in his chest. This land is our home, and it will never be yours to take, he responds, his voice unwavering. The villagers, now emboldened by Zuberi's words, stand tall, ready to face whatever comes next. The battle is no longer just about survival. It is about reclaiming their identity and defending everything they have ever known. The battle begins with a sudden, overwhelming force. The villagers, though outnumbered and outgunned, fight fiercely for their land. Zuberi, at the front of the charge, is a whirlwind of action, his body moving with the rhythm of his ancestors. His spear cuts through the air, meeting the weapons of Tunda's men with skill and precision. The sound of clashing metal fills the air, but Zuberi's mind is focused. He is not just fighting for himself. He is fighting for every generation that has come before him. Amina watches from the edge of the village, her heart in her throat as she sees her son lead the charge. The villagers fight with courage, but their numbers are few, and the battle seems to tilt in Tunda's favor. Zuberi's mind races as he realizes that without a change in strategy, they cannot win. He calls for the villagers to rally, urging them to focus on their heritage and the land they are defending. This is our land, Zuberi shouts. We will not let it fall. As the battle rages on, Zuberi makes his way to Tund, his eyes locked on the man who has come to destroy everything he has fought for. Tunda's expression is one of surprise as Zuberi stands before him, holding his spear. You should have joined us, Tund says coldly. We could have shared this land. Together, we could have been powerful. Zuberi, his voice full of resolve, steps closer. The land was never yours to take, he declares. It belongs to the people, to the ancestors, and to the future. You will never break us. With a sudden movement, Zuberi thrusts his spear forward, striking at Tunda's heart. The sound of the spear hitting its mark echoes through the village, and a hush falls over the battlefield. Tunda collapses to the ground, his smug confidence now shattered. As he dies, his last words are a curse on the village, but Zuberi stands tall, knowing that the land has been saved, for now. The battle is over, but the war for their heritage has only just begun. The battle is over, but the cost has been great. The village is in ruins, and the wounded are many. Zuberi stands in the center of the village, looking out at the devastation. Amina approaches him, her face filled with sorrow but also pride. "You have done what your father could not," she says softly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You have protected our land, our heritage." Zuberi looks around at the broken village, the villagers rebuilding, and the ancient temple standing tall in the background. The land has been saved, but the fight is far from over. "This battle may be over, but the war for our future is just beginning," Zuberi replies, his voice full of resolve. "We will rebuild, we will stand together, and we will fight to preserve what is ours. This land is ours, and it will always be." With those words, the villagers begin to rebuild, united under Zuberi's leadership. The legacy of their ancestors lives on, not just in the land, but in the hearts of those who fight to protect it. The aftermath of the battle weighs heavily on Zuberi and the villages. The land is still theirs, but the cost of the fight has left scars, both physical and emotional. As the sun rises over the village, Zuberi stands at the edge of the land, looking over the destruction. His heart is heavy, but his mind is resolute. He can see the villagers working together, clearing debris and rebuilding. Amina, standing beside him, places a hand on his shoulder. "Your father would be proud," she says softly. Zuberi nods, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "We fought for more than just land, Mother. We fought for our future, for our culture, for the legacy that was nearly lost." His voice breaks slightly, but he steadies himself. The battle is over, but the work is just beginning. The land, though battered, is theirs. With a deep breath, Zuberi turns to face the village. "We will rebuild, stronger than before. We will honor our past, and we will shape our future." The villagers rally around him, their determination renewed. The healing begins. As the village begins to rebuild, Zuberi finds himself reflecting on the journey that has brought him here. His thoughts drift to the temple, the artifact, and the legacy of his father. The weight of the responsibility that comes with leading the village has settled on him. Sitting by the temple, he speaks to Okello, who has been a guiding presence throughout the ordeal. "I never expected to be here, Okello," Zuberi admits, his voice filled with a mix of gratitude and uncertainty. "I didn't ask for this responsibility, but now it feels like it's all I have left." Okello, with a serene smile, looks at him. "Your father would have been proud to see you step into this role," he says. "You've proven that you are not just the son of your father, but the leader your people need." Zuberi's eyes soften as he looks at the temple. "I'm still learning," he admits, "but I know one thing for sure. I will protect this land, just like my father did, and I'll make sure the future is better for the generations to come." As the days pass, the village begins to flourish again. New structures rise where old ones once stood, and the land, though scarred, is healing. Zuberi walks through the village, observing the changes. He sees the faces of the villagers, their pride and determination evident. Amina joins him, her hand once again resting on his shoulder. "This is what your father would have wanted," she says, her voice filled with emotion. "He always dreamed of a strong, united village." Zuberi looks around, the weight of his mother's words settling within him. "We've come a long way," he says softly, his gaze drifting over the new life sprouting from the land. "But there's more work to do." As the villagers continue their work, Zuberi knows that their fight is far from over. The battle may have been won, but their true challenge lies in ensuring the survival of their culture, their identity, and their land. And with that, Zuberi understands he is no longer just fighting to protect the past. He is fighting to build a future for those who will come after him. Months have passed, and the village is thriving once again. Zuberi stands before the village council, the leaders who helped him guide the community through the darkness. He looks around the room, seeing the faces of the elders who have supported him and the younger generation that now looks to him for guidance. "We've come a long way," Zuberi begins, his voice steady and strong. "But we are not done. We must continue to protect what is ours, the land, the temple, and the very essence of who we are." The council nods in agreement, their faces filled with pride. Okello, now an old man, stands and places a hand on Zuberi's shoulder. "You've proven that you are the leader your father would have been proud of," he says, his voice full of warmth. "The village is in good hands." Zuberi's heart swells with gratitude, but he knows the true test has just begun. "We will continue to stand together," he says. "This is our land, and we will protect it for generations to come." As the sun sets on the village, Zuberi stands once again at the edge of the land, looking out at the horizon. The artifact now placed in the temple glows faintly in the distance. The village behind him is thriving, its people united and strong. Amina joins him, standing by his side. "You've done it, Zuberi," she says, her voice filled with pride and emotion. "You've secured the future of the village." Zuberi turns to her, a soft smile on his face. "We've done it, mother," he replies. Together, they stand in silence for a moment, watching as the last light of day fades into night. The village is safe, the land is protected, and the legacy of their ancestors will live on. With one final look at the land, Zuberi knows that his father's legacy has been fulfilled. The future is now in his hands, and he is ready to lead the village into a new era. The village, once torn by conflict, is now healing. Zuberi stands at the edge of the land, watching the villagers rebuild. Amina joins him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Your father would be proud," she says. Zuberi nods, a quiet smile on his face. "We've done it," he mutters. "The battle for their heritage is over. The village is ready to thrive again, united in purpose and strength." Zuberi and Okello sit beneath the ancient tree. "You've grown into a leader," Okello says. Zuberi reflects, "I never asked for this, but now I see what it means to nurture the land." Okello smiles, "You're ready to lead for the future." Zuberi's resolve hardens as he thinks about the work ahead. Zuberi oversees the construction of a new communal space. As he watches, Amina joins him. "Your father's dream was always for a strong, united village," she says. Zuberi smiles softly. "We're building that future now." The village is growing, and Zuberi feels his father's legacy living on in his work. Zuberi watches children play by the river. "What do you see when you look at this land?" he asks. One child answers, "Our future." Zuberi smiles, knowing they will protect it. This land, their heritage, is no longer just his responsibility, but theirs too. Zuberi and Okello stand together, looking at the land they've protected. Okello says, "Your father's legacy lives on." Zuberi replies, "And now, it's our responsibility." Together they watch the future unfold, knowing the village will thrive for generations to come.